The man slammed his fist on the table and stared at the quiet woman standing across from him. "Where did you learn that?" he demanded. She lowered her eyes for a moment, then answered in a calm voice that filled the silent room. "Stalkers don't quit." The room froze. No one expected those 4 words from a woman who had spent the last 3 years cleaning hospital floors. No one knew that behind her simple uniform was a past she had never spoken about, and a lesson that was about to change every heart in that building. Before we begin, welcome to Heartline Stories. If emotional stories that restore your faith in humanity inspire you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world kindness still matters. Emily Parker was 42 years old and worked the night shift as a custodian at Memorial Hope Hospital in Chicago. Most people passed by her without even noticing her. She quietly mopped the floors, emptied trash cans, and smiled at everyone she met. Doctors rushed past her. Visitors barely looked at her. Patients simply called her the cleaning lady. But Emily greeted every person with kindness because she believed every human being deserved respect. What nobody knew was that years earlier, Emily had served in one of the toughest military aviation units. She had been married to a soldier who later lost his life overseas. After that heartbreaking loss, she left the military and chose a peaceful life, wanting to stay close to her young daughter. She never talked about her service. She never asked for praise. She simply wanted to help people in quiet ways. One rainy evening, a teenage boy was rushed into the emergency room after a terrible car accident. The hospital became crowded with doctors and nurses running in every direction. The chief surgeon, Dr. Richard Collins, had just arrived after working almost 20 hours without sleep. Everyone respected his talent, but many feared his temper. As Emily cleaned the hallway outside the operating room, she noticed something unusual. The backup oxygen system displayed a tiny warning light. It wasn't sounding an alarm yet, but something looked wrong. She had seen equipment failures before during military rescue missions. She quickly called out to a technician. "I think this needs checking." The technician glanced at the panel and shrugged. "It's probably nothing." Emily didn't argue. Instead, she calmly explained exactly what she noticed and why it worried her. The technician finally opened the panel. Within seconds, his face turned pale. A damaged valve was slowly failing. If it had completely broken during surgery, the operating room could have lost oxygen pressure. The technician immediately fixed the problem. Nobody outside the maintenance department even heard about it. Emily simply returned to her mop. The next morning, Dr. Collins learned what had happened. He found Emily polishing the hallway floor. He asked with disbelief. "You spotted the problem?" Emily nodded politely. "I've seen similar failures before." Dr. Collins crossed his arms. "Where exactly did you learn something like that?" Emily smiled softly. "A long time ago." But he wasn't satisfied. He thought she was exaggerating. Days later, another emergency arrived. A helicopter carrying injured hikers crashed during landing outside the hospital. Several victims needed immediate treatment. The emergency room turned into complete chaos. People shouted. Machines beeped. Families cried. During the confusion, one frightened young nurse completely froze. She couldn't move. Her hands shook so badly she almost dropped important medical supplies. Emily gently stepped beside her. She placed one hand on the nurse's shoulder. "Look at me," she said quietly. "Breathe." The young nurse looked into Emily's calm eyes. One step at a time. Within seconds, the nurse regained control and continued helping patients. Dr. Collins watched everything. He couldn't understand how a hospital custodian remained calmer than trained professionals during a disaster. Later that evening, he finally confronted her. "Where did you learn to stay calm like that?" he demanded. Emily looked toward the hospital window where rain slowly fell outside. Then she whispered the words that made everyone nearby stop working. "Stalkers don't quit." Silence filled the hallway. One of the older security guards suddenly looked up. His eyes widened. "Were you Army aviation?" Emily slowly nodded. Years ago, she had flown dangerous rescue missions with elite helicopter crews, saving wounded soldiers under impossible conditions. She had learned that fear could never control compassion. She had learned that courage meant helping others even when your own heart was breaking. After losing her husband, she had quietly walked away from that life. She never wanted recognition. She only wanted peace. Dr. Collins suddenly felt ashamed. For years he had walked past Emily without ever asking her name. He judged her by her uniform instead of her character. "I'm sorry," he said sincerely. Emily smiled. "You don't owe me anything." "Actually," he replied, "I do." The following week, the hospital organized a small appreciation ceremony. Everyone expected doctors and executives to receive awards. Instead, Dr. Collins walked onto the stage carrying a simple framed certificate. He called Emily's name. She looked completely surprised. As she walked forward, every employee stood and applauded. Doctors, nurses, patients, janitors, receptionists. Everyone. Dr. Collins spoke with emotion. Great hospitals are not built by titles. They're built by people who choose kindness when nobody is watching. Emily reminded all of us that true strength doesn't need applause. Many people wiped tears from their eyes. But Emily simply thanked everyone and quietly returned to work the next night. Nothing about her kindness changed. She still comforted lonely patients. She still smiled at tired nurses. She still helped families find lost rooms. She still believed every small act of kindness mattered. Months later, the young nurse Emily had encouraged during the helicopter accident graduated into one of the hospital's best trauma specialists. Whenever new nurses became nervous, she repeated the same words Emily once told her. One step at a time. Those simple words traveled from person to person, helping countless patients over the years. Emily never realized how many lives she had changed. Kindness often works that way. The smallest moment can become someone else's greatest source of strength. People may never remember your job title. They may never remember how much money you made. But they will always remember how you made them feel. Sometimes the strongest people are the quietest. Sometimes the greatest heroes wear ordinary uniforms. And sometimes the biggest difference in someone's life begins with nothing more than a gentle smile, a calm voice, and a kind heart. If this story touched your heart, remember that kindness never requires permission, wealth, or recognition. It only requires a willing heart. The world has enough critics, but it will never have enough kind people. So wherever you go today, choose compassion over judgment, encouragement over silence, and love over pride. Your simple act of kindness may become the reason someone refuses to give up. Thank you for watching Heartline Stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this story with someone you care about, and we'll see you in the next heartfelt journey.